this jollof rice recipe is certainly my holy grail. So if you want to take your jollof rice making to the next level, and I mean smoky jollof rice, please stick around. So first of all, you are going to pour in your vegetable oil into your pan. Now this was targeted at feeding 50 people, so please take note, which is why I'm using this much oil. I always believe that it is very important that you fry your protein with the same oil that you would be using to cook your jollof rice. That is very important. It has a way of infusing your oil with depths of chicken flavor that can only be gotten from pure chicken. So fry your chicken, your turkey, your beef, whatever you're going to be using for this jollof rice, fry it up properly, and then you're going to season this oil still. So I seasoned with my curry powder, with some thyme, with some rosemary, some bay leaf, and then I allowed that simmer for a bit before I poured in my onion, and then I fried my onion till it was translucent, just like you can see. And at this point I had to pour in my tomato paste. Now you're going to mix this up properly, and then you're going to fry it. I don't mean burn the tomato paste so that your jollof rice doesn't end up looking all black and then the color is not bright, but fry it just enough to kill that tangy, slappy taste that normal tomato paste usually have. So after that, I poured in my already prepped tomato mix that contained tomato, pepper, tatashe, shombo, onion, ginger and garlic. I'm going to attach a video of how I make my tomato mix just after this video, so please stay tuned. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, you are so wrong. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel because you're going to learn a lot just sticking with me. Now you're going to pour in all of that. Like I said, I was cooking for about 50 persons or more, and I had to use a lot of it, so I poured that in. And of course I seasoned with extra spicity. Feel free to add whatever seasoning has your heart at this point, and then of course some seasoning powder. Please be generous with your seasoning powder because tomato has a way of absorbing seasoning powder, so you need quite a lot if you want to make tasty meal. Now you can see how this oil is floating on top. This is just saying that your pepper and stew base for your jollof rice is absolutely ready at this point. So I cooked this at night. I usually try not to cook the rice and the stew on the same day, so I usually make my stew at night before I make the jollof rice in the morning. So I made that at night, and now this is the next day. I just washed my rice and then I mixed it up properly. So you're going to mix it up, and then while you're mixing, you're also going to season it, because you've added the rice and then it has probably toned down the seasoning level of your stew. So just to balance it out, you're going to add some more seasoning powder or whatever seasoning you need. You don't need extra spicity or curry at this point. You just need seasoning powder and maybe salt if you want. So you're going to mix that up thoroughly and ensure that every grain of rice is coated with this amazing stew base you have made. So mix it up properly. So this is where I added my seasoning powder. You can see how everything is coated all nicely. Now you're going to mix that up. Normally I like to leave my jollof rice to cook just like this for about 2 to 5 minutes, but on this day I decided to try something else and it came out really amazing. So what I did was I added my meat stock into the rice and I covered it. So what this does is that it just allows the rice boil and cook in that concentration before you finally add more water. So I mixed that up, allowed it cook for about 5 minutes, and then I added more water to cook this jollof rice properly. So one thing you should also note is that you do not need so much water to cook jollof rice, especially when you are cooking in bulk. Just cook with a minimal amount of water. Your water doesn't have to be floating on top the jollof rice. Now another thing you should also notice is that if you're cooking in bulk, you have to lift and turn at intervals. What does this mean? You take your spatula or whatever you're using to turn, and then you put it inside the rice so that the ones under come on top. Normally what I also do at this stage is I cover it with something, maybe a bag, a nylon, something that can cover the pot, so that the rice cooks thoroughly with steam, right? I just try to put a hole in between the rice so that the steam is even. I don't know if you get what I mean. The steam circulates evenly. You can see me trying to, poke a hole into the middle of the rice. That way, because the fire, it's probably positioned in the middle, it burns out and then the steam circulates evenly and then it cooks the rice evenly. So this is one method. You can see that the steam is already coming out from the middle of the rice. That is one thing I do, and then it makes my rice come out really amazing. So at intervals too, depending on how red I want my rice to look like, I pour some of the stew on top, right? This is also something else that I do. So instead of pouring the water everywhere, I just pour that water in the middle of the rice, and then it cooks your rice evenly. Do you understand? So instead of pouring water and then you just realize that some parts are still very soggy, just pour it in the middle. It boils it and then it steams up and then it cooks the rice. So I'm going to cover this all up. Like I told you before, I covered it with this bag, and then I just left it to steam properly. And like I said, at intervals I open it up and then I put some stew and then I cover it back and then I stir, adjust the seasoning. One important thing that I did that wasn't shown in this video was that towards the end of the rice, I added some onion and some butter or margarine, as the case may be. Now, when you add that, the next thing you're supposed to do is you're supposed to turn on the heat to steam the rice so that the rice becomes smoky, and then ensure that you are totally covering that up well, and then allow that rest before you open it up to stir. You can see the tiny bits of onion in the rice. Now this rice was amazing. I made it for my clients and they loved it. So please try out this recipe. I will try to make a more detailed recipe some other time, but for now you have to make do with this recipe. Do not forget to subscribe, like, share to someone, and this might just be your Easter miracle. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. As promised, this is a video of how I make my tomato base. So the full list of ingredients will be in the description. Thank you so much for watching once again. Do not forget to subscribe, like, leave a comment, tell me if you like the recipe and you would love to try it. Bye bye.